What is up, guys? Hazy Ames here with another YouTube video. We got another banger for you tonight or today, wherever you're at in the world. We're going to be going over IGN's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth official trailer, kind of catching us up on the story from the first game. If you haven't played the first game, I'm sure there'll be some spoilers in here, but if you played Final Fantasy Original, you kind of already know the story. So, spoilers, but probably not if you've played Final Fantasy VII. So we're going to check this out, kind of get pumped up, hyped for it. I'll definitely be getting Rebirth at some point. Don't know when that'll fall into my gaming schedule, but I will definitely be picking this one up for sure. So let's just jump right into it here.
When there is so much to tell, where should I even start? With all that we saw, what we heard, what we felt, this planet of ours, destiny, our part in it. Best to start at the beginning, perhaps. Midgar, the city of Mako, ruled by the Shinra Electric Power Company, who drained the planet of its very essence, the life stream, and processed it for industry as Mako. Our world was dying, and so few could hear her cries for mercy. Those who could rose up in her defense.
Dude, the graphics are so incredible.
Avalanche.
And this is just in
Among
1080p.
them, Cloud Strife, an ex-soldier hired by the Resistance to destroy Reactor 1. In Sector 8, amidst the aftermath of the attack, Cloud met a flower seller named Aerith. She offered him a yellow blossom, one said to symbolize reunion. And thus was destiny set in motion. With Reactor 1 gone, Avalanche set their sights on Mako Reactor 5. Unfortunately, they were playing right into Shinra's hands. The company was able to draw the wool over the people's eyes. And in the end, destroyed Sector 7, killing thousands and laying the blame at Avalanche's feet. Though dear friends were lost, Avalanche had no time.
Man, it's such a good story game, dude. Like, such a good plot, such good storytelling, such good voice acting, dialogue. Such a good story, man. If you're into RPGs, JRPGs, good storytelling, you gotta play this game.
Time to grieve. Aerith had struck a deal with Shinra, who took her into custody. With her capture, Shinra's obsession was within reach. The fabled Promised Land. For Aerith was the last of the Cetra, the ancient stewards of the planet. And only she could guide them to paradise. To save her, the team infiltrated the Shinra building, the company's beating heart. It was here that I, another prisoner, joined their story and assisted them in freeing Aerith. Yet during our flight, we came face to face with a man thought dead. The vaunted war hero, Sephiroth.
Man, speaking of Sephiroth, this battle in this game, this last battle against Sephiroth, was so good. Had so much fun. It was just enough challenging to where you might have to replay it a few times. I know I did personally. It was such a good fight, such a good battle. Definitely felt like an in-game boss should. Great time fighting and defeating Sephiroth.
Before he could be stopped, Cloud's foe fled with the corpse of Nova, the cataclysm from the stars and the catalyst of our plight. Eventually, we too made good our escape. Pursuing troopers defeated, we raced toward Midgar's edge.
Yeah, okay, this is where I was. So what do we do after this? What happens now? That's
Yet
what I want to know.
Sephiroth once again intervened. Suddenly, deafening screams rent the air. Whispers, the arbiters of fate, descended upon the city. Before their imposing wall, Aerith warned us. This was Destiny's crossroads. Every moment, every action, every step taken had all been as the Whispers willed it. To fight them was to break free. On the other side of fate, Sephiroth waited, the Whispers undulating within him. Cloud brought his blade down upon his rival, sundering destiny. But the fight won, and the shackles of destiny broken. We stood before the unknown, a world of boundless freedom. It was there, beyond where fate could follow, that a new journey began.
What? It doesn't go into anything. This is just like a hype trailer. Is there Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer? Hold on.
And beloved RPGs of all time and rebuild it into a modern package seemed an impossible task, yet Square Enix somehow managed to rise to the challenge. With Rebirth, the second entry in the planned trilogy of the FF7 Remake project, the task seems even more daunting. Going into Remake, it was unclear whether Square Enix would stay 100% true to the beloved original or make plot changes to one of the most well-known storylines in all of gaming. The answer, it turned out, was a bit of both. Remake followed the structure of FF7 nearly to a T, expanding out the original's Midgar section into a full game of its own, while also making small but significant changes to key moments. And now, Rebirth has the unenviable task of picking up this new, almost but not quite same story as Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barret, and Red 13 emerge from Midgar on the heels of Sephiroth. I went hands-on with a short demo section of the PS5 exclusive, playing through a bit of the flashback sequence from 5 years previous, where Cloud and Sephiroth approach the Mount Nibble reactor, as well as a second section of the open area that the party explores before entering the military city of Junon.
That city they're headed to, is that...
Junon. Shinra territory.
At its core, Rebirth's combat is nearly identical to the system used in Remake, combining...
Well, I mean, you would expect that the combat and system is nearly identical. It's supposed to be the same game, just extending the story. So, duh, I guess.
Active attacking and movement with issuing commands to your party members when their action meter is full. You still pressure and stagger enemies, building the gauge via skillful combat and doling out massive damage when it's full. It's a fun system that provides a good mixture of modern active combat with the turn-based strategy that FF7 is known for. Fortunately,
Man, that thing is ugly. Terror of the Deep? Man.
there are some new combat options available at your disposal. Rebirth introduces a new synergy system that lets you unleash multi-character combo attacks. Look out for synergy skills, which are basic combo attacks that can be used without an ATB charge, that you employ by holding R1 and then pressing square or triangle. These...
That's kind of cool. Makes the combat a little... have a few more options on ways to kill things. That's always a good thing, I think, as long as it works out good.
didn't feel terribly different from just mashing square to attack, but they do give you an additional way to vary your basic damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Rebirth also introduces synergy abilities, which can be used when two characters have built enough synergy gauge, a new secondary meter that's filled by using abilities.
That's cool. I feel like we've had that mechanic on one of the other Final Fantasies I've played. Was it Final Fantasy 9? Maybe, kind of? Maybe not.
Essentially feel like additional limit breaks, giving you another source of big flashy damage to dole out. Synergy abilities vary depending on the characters using them, and they have fun little mini cutscenes, like Barrett unloading a salvo of bullets and then throwing Red 13 at the target. There's also new materia.
You can throw Red 13 at the enemy with an attack. That is hilarious.
To expand your options in combat. In addition to one seen in Remake, like Synergy, Magnify, and Assess, I encountered a Precision Defense Focus materia, which extends the input timing window for perfect block.
Is it just me, or does this game not look very good on PS5? Maybe it's just because it's the demo, or maybe it's the way that the video was recorded, but these just kind of look washed out to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my settings.
Blocking a Lightning and Wind materia, which enabled both arrow and thunder magic, and a level boost materia, which increases the level of the linked materia by 1. The demo also gave me a taste of how Rebirth will translate the expansive open world of FF7's world map into...
Dude, I'm super excited for the world map, because the world map was kind of a big deal and big, at least thing that I'm kind of concerned about how they're going to do it and how they're going to make it work. I hope they do it right. I hope it's just not a bunch of senseless, endless running.
2 explorable zones. It won't be completely open world, but rather have large open areas that you'll be able to explore. Fans of the original will remember the pre-Junon section as a relatively empty bit of world map that the party traverses after emerging from the Mithril Cave. Here, though, it's a large open area with cliffs overlooking a picturesque bay.
See, there it looks beautiful. That is phenomenal looking right there. I don't know. Maybe it's just different scenes look different. Well, obviously.
With the imposing edifice of Junon looming in the background. In open areas like this, the party will explore on foot, in vehicles, and on the backs of chocobos. Poor Red 13. That cannot be comfortable. This section I played was fairly walled off at the edges, but it's unclear if these walls are actually hard separations from other zones, or if the world map actually is all connected, and you're just limited by the modes of traversal at your disposal, as was the case with the original FF7 overlay.
Yeah, that could
I didn't get to try out catching a chocobo for myself, but once you have one for that area, it can be summoned with R1. Chocobos will primarily be used for exploration and traversal, with specialized variants available in different areas. In the section I played, I only had access to a fairly basic chocobo that gave me some extra speed, but we've seen in the gameplay trailer one that can scale cliffs and another that can fly. The open area also had some hunt-like encounters that were marked on the map. These marked enemies seem to be specialized variants that came with a list of tasks to complete while fighting them. In the demo, these tasks were fairly basic: pressure and stagger an enemy, and defeat them all within a certain time limit. But I have to assume that more complicated challenges will be present in the full game. These fights could also be repeated if you wanted to take an additional stab at knocking out all the objectives.
That's kind of cool. I like that. Add something a little extra to do in the world. I hope the world's just not filled with like pointless things to accomplish, you know, like some Assassin's Creed, or a lot of Assassin's Creed games, there was things you would do complete and just be like, collect all the feathers, and it's like, what do I do with all these feathers, you know? So hopefully there's a point and it rewards you well for doing the side missions.
Meanwhile, the open areas are littered with crafting materials to pick up. Little bits like laurel leaves and mist seeds and manifestations of the planet's blessing, whatever that is. These can be used to craft basic items like potions and Phoenix Downs. There are also chocobo stops to unlock, which serve as fast travel locations, letting you return to previous zones even after you've moved on. And yes, you can pet the chocobo chick.
Aww.
Story-wise, Rebirth again feels very familiar, and yet also different. This is due in part to the tremendous difference in scale and presentation. Here, like with Remake, areas that were previously sparse or bare are expanded out into lush zones to explore. But there are also little changes that are mostly inconsequential, but they still play out in different ways than fans of the original FF7 are used to. Climbing Mount Nibble with Cloud, Sephiroth, and Tifa is effectively the same as people will remember it, right down to specific scenes like Sephiroth explaining how materia is crystallized Mako.
I remember
Mako
this.
energy to condense into something like this.
On the original, this
It
scene.
must have taken an eternity.
Oh, there's some
I've always
materia
wondered-
back there.
How does materia let you cast spells exactly?
How did you ever get to be a soldier?
And then you'll run into something different, like needing to use a big honkin' vacuum cleaner to hoover up some Mako fumes before you can use an elevator. What was that about?
The hell?
Also, gas levels reduced by 20%.
Finally, there's the question of bigger changes. The end of Remake retcons a character death with fairly significant implications for FF7's story. Rebirth, meanwhile, will cover through the end of the original game's first disc, which, well, I'm not going to say anything. The real question, though, is whether the story-changing whispers of fate will show up again. That remains to be seen.
Oh, great. These assholes again. Probably some Shinra science experiment.
Whispers.
For more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coverage, check out our interview with game director Naoki Hamaguchi, producer
right.
Yoshinori Kitase, and creative director
Well, there we have it. I'm excited for Rebirth for sure. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope they do it right. I hope they get the open world right, the traveling with the chocobos and whatever methods of travel. The first one was very well done. Just a super well done game. So I have high hopes that this one is also going to be well done. I hope they knock it out of the park. It is going to be awesome. Let me know what you think down in the comments about Final Fantasy VII if you're going to pick it up and play it. If you've been a fan since the original, if you've never played it, you definitely should. Much love, guys. Please smash that like and subscribe button. It helps you out, helps me out immensely. And have a good night or day wherever you're at in the world. And we'll see you on the next one.